As whispers fill the air and footsteps echo in empty rooms, a curious group of students embarks on a daring adventure to uncover the truth behind the mysterious knocking and the ghostly presence lurking within. What they find will plunge them into a nightmarish reality, forever changing their lives, and perhaps sealing their fate within the very walls they sought to explore. Prepare yourself for a story of suspense, fear, and the unknown, as the haunting echoes draw you into a world where curiosity may lead to... The first story, The Whisper from Room 302. Jefferson High School, located in a small American town, had stood for over 50 years. The old building, with its long hallways and dimly lit classrooms, was a breeding ground for rumors and eerie tales passed down from one generation to the next. But none of these stories were more terrifying than the legend of Room 302. Room 302 was once just a normal classroom until a horrific accident occurred 20 years ago. On a rainy day, a student named Jenny disappeared after school. The police searched everywhere, but they never found any trace of her. Strangely, on the last day Jenny was seen, she had been spotted walking into Room 302, but no one ever saw her leave. After her disappearance, teachers and students started reporting strange events. Footsteps echoed in the room when no one was there, the chalkboard mysteriously drew odd shapes in the dead of night, and the sound of a girl sobbing could be heard from the walls. Some students even claimed they heard whispers calling their names as they passed by Room 302 in the evening. A group of curious students decided to test the rumors. One winter night, when the school was deserted, they snuck into the building and headed straight for Room 302. When they opened the door, nothing seemed unusual, just an old classroom with worn-out desks. But then, as the door slammed shut behind them, the darkness inside thickened and the air grew colder. A faint voice echoed from the corner of the room. "Help! Me!" Suddenly, one of them was violently pulled toward the wall, where the shadow of a young girl emerged, her hand gripping the student's neck, her empty eyes staring blankly. The group screamed in terror, fleeing the room, but the student who had been grabbed never returned. The next day, Room 302 was sealed off for good, and no one dared approach it again. But at night, if you stand in the quiet hallways of Jefferson High, you might still hear Jenny's cries, forever trapped in the room that no one dares to enter. Story 2. The Mysterious Classroom in the Basement. In an old high school located in the outskirts of Ohio, there was a story no student dared to mention. At the end of the main hallway near the library, there was an old wooden door that had been locked for as long as anyone could remember. Everyone said that behind the door was a basement full of old, unused equipment, a place no one needed anymore. But the truth was far more terrifying. Sarah, a senior student, had always been curious about the story. She had heard rumors that there used to be a classroom in that basement, but one night in 1967, both the teacher and the students in that class suddenly disappeared after attending a special evening lesson. No trace of them was ever found, and the school decided to seal off the basement forever. One day, Sarah decided to uncover the truth. She sneaked into the school at night after everyone had left. With a flashlight in hand, she made her way to the old wooden door. Upon arrival, she realized that the lock had been broken, as if someone had been waiting for her. She opened the door and descended the creaky wooden stairs. The basement was pitch black, only the faint light from her flashlight cutting through the darkness. The deeper she went, the more suffocating the atmosphere became. Suddenly, Sarah felt a cold chill run down her spine. When her flashlight scanned across a wall, she was horrified to see scrawled writing in blood. "Do not go further." But Sarah pressed on. At the end of the hallway, she found another door, and when she opened it, she saw a classroom. It was eerily intact, with desks, chairs, and a chalkboard, as if the class was still in session. Strangely, the desks still had notebooks and pencils on them, everything as if the students had just left moments before. Out of nowhere, there was a faint sound behind her, and when Sarah turned around, she saw a shadowy figure standing in the corner of the room. It was a woman with blank white eyes, dressed in old-fashioned teacher's clothes from the 1960s. "Welcome to my class," the woman whispered, her voice echoing in the silent room. "You've arrived just in time. The lesson is about to begin." Before Sarah could react, the teacher moved closer, her icy hand resting on Sarah's shoulder. Everything went black, and when Sarah opened her eyes again, she found herself sitting at one of the desks, surrounded by ghostly students with pale faces, all waiting for the lesson to start. She couldn't move from her seat, and the eerie class went on forever. After that night, no one ever saw Sarah again. The third story, the mysterious knocking. In a quiet, small town on the outskirts of Pennsylvania, Green Ridge High School had stood for over 100 years. The old building, with its long, silent hallways, carried with it many mysterious stories that every generation of students whispered about. But among all the legends, the scariest was the story of the mysterious knocking. During the cold, early days of winter, as the afternoon faded, students and teachers hurried to leave the school because no one wanted to stay long in the biting cold. However, one time in the winter of 2003, a group of students in the journalism club had to stay late to finish the last issue of the semester. Among them was Jenny, a bright and ambitious senior. Jenny and her friends gathered in the school's journalism room, located at the end of a rarely trafficked hallway. After working for a long time, as the clock approached 7 p.m., the group began to feel tired. Suddenly, a knock echoed through the silent space, coming from the end of the hallway. The group looked at each other, wondering if anyone else was still in the school at this hour. "It must be the hall monitor checking in," one friend suggested, but no one dared to stand up and investigate. Then the knocking came again, this time louder and closer. Jenny decided to step outside to check, convincing herself it was probably just someone passing by, perhaps a security guard. When she stepped into the hallway, Jenny saw no one. But before she could turn back, the knocking echoed again, this time from the classroom next door. She opened the door, feeling a sense of unease creeping in. The room was empty, desks and chairs neatly arranged as usual, but no one was in sight. As she turned to go back, she suddenly noticed that the hallway seemed to stretch longer, the lights flickering and shadows creeping in all around. The knocking continued, coming from both in front and behind her, as if someone were teasing her. Jenny felt her heart racing, a chill running down her spine. Then she heard a very soft whisper coming from the end of the hallway. "Jenny, come here." She froze, staring at the hallway's end, but saw no one. In a panic, she rushed back to the journalism room, only to find the door locked from the outside. The knocking had now turned into a series of loud bangs, as if someone were trying to break in. The group was terrified, desperately trying to find a way out, but every window and door remained shut tight. In a moment of desperation, a chilling laughter echoed from somewhere above, resonating from the ceiling. The group froze when they saw a dark figure, resembling a person, hanging suspended in the air, with deep black eyes staring down at them. The next morning, the school security found the group of students in a state of panic, screaming and unable to remember what had happened the night before. But from that night on, every winter, strange knocking sounds continued to echo through the silent hallways of Green Ridge High School, like a reminder that some mysteries should never be unraveled. The story of the mysterious knocking became a dark legend of this school, causing many generations of students to look over their shoulders whenever they walked through that hallway after school hours. Thank you for watching today's story. I hope these chilling experiences have made you reflect on fears and trust in life. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit the like button and share your thoughts in the comments below. Be sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel so you don't miss out on more engaging stories and interesting content in the future. Thank you for your support, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video.